Well, hello and welcome. I'm Miss Heard with Miss Heard Song Lyrics Podcast. We're at Season 5, Episode 228, first ever Led Zeppelin Miss Heard Song Lyric. The Miss Heard lyric is, all of my love, all of my love, oh, all of my love for you now. And then the correct lyrics is, all of my love, all of my love, oh, all of my love for you now. It almost sounds like he's singing about Popeye's love interest, olive oil, but it's not. It's all, A-L-L. So speaking of olive oil, let's talk about her first, and then we'll go right into the song. Olive Oil, if you don't know, is a cartoon character created by an E.C. Segar in 1919. Wow, a long time ago, over 100 years ago now, for his comic strip called Thimble Theater. Then the strip was later changed to Popeye, that's how I know it, after the sailor character that became the most popular member of the cast. However, Olive Oil was a main character for a decade before Popeye's 1929 appearance. Did not know that. I thought it was always Popeye and that she was just like a secondary main character. Did you also know that olive oil, it's spelled O-Y-L, was named after olive oil? It's spelled O-I-L, commonly used in cooking or in salads. I use it a lot. In Seeger's newspaper strips, he also featured a number of relatives named after different oils, including her brother Castor Oil, but it's spelled O-Y-L, her mother Nana Oil, after the banana oil, and horse feathers, or whatever, it says after banana oil, a mild slang phrase of the time used in the same way as horse feathers, i.e. nonsense. Her father Coal Oil, spelled C-O-L-O-Y-L, and Castor's estranged wife Celinda Oil, and most recently Olive's niece's Diesel Oil and Violet Oil has appeared in the cartoons. And among other Olive's families are her two uncles, Otto, but spelled O-T-T-O Oil, and intrepid explorer Lubricant Oil. And Lubricant's gift to Castor and Olive was a lucky wiffle hand, they say, that led into an adventures when they met Popeye. And interesting thing is, I remember as a young child going to see the 1980 musical live-action film called Popeye. Olive was portrayed by the amazing Shelley Duvall, who was also around that time the main wife character in The Shining horror movie by Stephen King. Brilliant. Opposite co-star Robin Williams, bless his soul, as her love interest as Popeye. So if you haven't seen it, you can probably find any streaming networks because it's a hoot, and I need to see it now as a 50-some-year-old versus an 8-year-old when I first saw it. So that's about Olive Oil. It's not about her. It's all of my love, and it's the sixth song in Led Zeppelin's 1979 album called In Through the Outdoor. That's funny because when I see that In Through the Outdoor, I think of Prince's lyrics from, I think, Red Beret. She walked in through the outdoor. Okay, all right, maybe you got it from that. It was credited to both Robert Plant and John Paul Jones, JPJ. It's a rock ballad that features a synthesizer solo by Jones. Now, the impetus of the song is a sad one. So in July of 1977, Robert Plant's son, Kerouac, died at the age of 5. So he would have been my age, where I was 5 in 1977, while Plant was on Led Zeppelin's 1977 North American tour. He then returned and retreated to his home in the Midlands of England, and for months afterwards questioned his future. I can imagine losing a child that young. And that's why All of My Love was written in honor of his son, Kerouac. All of My Love is also one of only 2 Led Zeppelin songs that Jimmy Page had no part in writing, the other being Southbound Suarez, also from the In Through the Outdoor album. And guitarist Jimmy Page and drummer John Bonham had reservations about the song's soft rock sound, which I'm glad that Robert Plant and others said, no, let's move ahead, crack on, and obviously it's a very well-known song. In fact, in an interview Robert Plant later gave to rock journalist, famous name here, Cameron Crowe, he stated that this song was one of Led Zeppelin's finest moments. So let's talk about Cameron Crowe. Have you heard of him before? He is Cameron Bruce Crowe, born on July 13, 1957. He is an American filmmaker and journalist. He has received numerous accolades, including an Academy Award, BAFTA Award, and Grammy Award, as well as a nomination for a Tony Award. All he has to get is an Emmy, and he got that elusive EGOT. Crowe started his career as a contributing editor and writer at Rolling Stone in 1973, where he covered numerous rock bands. So he was a youngin' then. You know, if you do the math, 1973, he was born in 57. He was, 16 when he was doing all that. He also wrote a screenwriting for Fast Times at Ridgemont High in 1982 that became a wonderful cult movie that I grew up with, that grew out of a book he wrote while posing for 1 year undercover as a student at Claremont High School in San Diego. Did not know that. Later, he wrote and directed the romance film Say Anything in 1989 with John Cusack, Singles 1992, Jerry Maguire 1996. He also directed his autobiographical film Almost Famous in 2000, and that had him in there as a young 16, 17-year-old following around these bands he was writing about. It's, again, loosely based on his early career as a teen writer for Rolling Stones. And for his screenplay, he won an Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay. His later films received varying degrees of success. He directed the psychological thriller with Tom Cruise, I have not seen it yet, from 2001, called Vanilla Sky. And he's done several other things. Personally, I also know him, other than, of course, directing and writing, and then now finding out that he was also part of the Almost Famous, kind of loosely based on his teen life writing for Rolling Stones. He was married to Nancy Wilson, the other part of the rock band Heart, in July of 1986. And they have twin sons. Both were born in January 2000, so this year they should be, 24. And then, unfortunately, Crowe and Wilson separated in June of 2008, and Wilson filed for divorce on September 3rd, 2010, citing irreconcilable differences, and was finalized on December 8th, 2010. So they've been divorced now for almost 14 years. All right, so that's Cam and Crowe. We've talked about Olive Oil. Let's talk about Led Zeppelin. Who were they, if you don't know who they are? They were an English rock band formed in London in 1968. The group comprised with vocalist Robert Plant, guitarist Jimmy Page, bassist and keyboardist John Paul Jones, and drummer John Bonham. They have been known for their heavy guitar-driven sound. They are cited as one of the originators of hard rock and heavy metal, although their style drew from a variety of influences, including blues and folk music. I can definitely hear that. The Led Zeppelin also has been credited as significantly impacting the nature of the music industry, particularly in the development of what they call an AOR, or album-oriented rock, or stadium rock. Did you know, originally before they became Led Zeppelin, they were named actually the New Yardbirds. Led Zeppelin signed a deal with Atlantic Records that gave them considerable artistic freedom, thank goodness. Initially unpopular with critics, they achieved significant commercial success with 8 studio albums over 10 years. Wow. Their 1969 debut, Led Zeppelin, was a top 10 album in several countries and featured such tracks as Good Times, Bad Times, Dazed and Confused, Communication Breakdown. Led Zeppelin 2, that came out in 1969, was their first #1 album and yielded Whole Lotta Love, Ramble On, and in 1970 they released Led Zeppelin 3, which featured Immigrant Song, great song. And then their untitled 4th album, commonly known as Led Zeppelin 4 from 1971, is one of the best-selling albums in history that sold about 37 million copies. Imagine, that was when nothing was downloaded, streamed. You had to go physically to the market to purchase the album, the vinyl. This album includes Black Dog. I love it. Hey, hey, mama said the way you move, gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove. Da-da-da-da. That's Black Dog. Rock and Roll and Stairway to Heaven, with the latter being almost the most popular and influential works in rock history. And then, of course, Houses of the Holy in 1973 yielded The Song Remains the Same and Over the Hills and Far Away. Physical Graffiti in 1975, a double album, featured The Rover and Kashmir. Da-da-dun, da-da-dun. Okay. So Page, like I kind of mentioned earlier, wrote most of Led Zeppelin's music, particularly early in their career, while Plant wrote most of the lyrics. Jones's keyboard-based compositions later became central to their music, which featured increasing experimentation. And in the latter half of their career saw a series of record-breaking tours that earned the group a reputation for excess and debauchery. Oh my. Although they remained commercially and critically successful, their touring and output, which included presence in 1976 and In Through the Outdoor 1979, grew limited, and the group disbanded following Bonham's death in 1980, feeling that they would not be Led Zeppelin without him. Since then, their surviving former members have here and there collaborated and participated on one-off concerts. Their most successful of these one-off concerts was back in 2007 at the Ahmet Ertegun tribute concert in London with Bonham's son, Jason Bonham, on drums. That's cool. Led Zeppelin are one of the best-selling music artists of all time. Their total record sales are estimated to be between 200 and 300 million units worldwide. They achieved 8 consecutive UK number one albums and 6 number one albums on the US Billboard 200, with 5 of their albums certified diamond. In the US Rolling Stones magazine described them as the heaviest band of all time, the biggest band of the 70s, and unquestionably one of the most enduring bands in rock history. No surprise, back in 1995, they were inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the museum's biography of the band states that they were, quote-unquote, as influential during the 1970s as the Beatles were during the 1960s. Amazing. And if you look at the video of the song All of My Love, there's some great footage from the band and with his kids. And I'm assuming that the son is not one of the children he's playing with in the video, but I could be wrong. Check it out. It's on YouTube. Lots of hits, a lot of great comments. And again, it's not about olive oil. It's All of My Love, and it's a loving tribute to his son who passed away in 1977. If you have great suggestions like this misheard song lyric, please send them to any of our sites, like formerly Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram, or just send it. Go to fashion to me at misheard, that's MISSHEARD songs @gmail.com. Till then, keep singing those songs wrong. Bye.